Okay guys, so just another update. As shown in the previous video, fitting the cylinder block onto the cases and deleting the base gasket and only using some sealant just was not giving me enough head clearance at all. You know, I showed you in that video how the pistons were kissing the top of if I put a stainless steel ruler across there, they were just touching the top of that, and so all you had then really to get any kind of clearance towards the cylinder head was the thickness of a compressed head gasket. Now it just wasn't enough, so I've taken the block off again and cleaned up the sealant residue that was on here. Bit, you know, bit difficult to get it all off, you know, because you know, normally you know, when you lift the cylinder off and there's a base gasket on there, it just lifts off. But this time I had to break the seal, and you know, it was stuck on there pretty good. But anyway, it's off, it's all cleaned up. I used some cellulose or lacquer thinners and got it all cleaned up. I took the crank out. It's only held in with the main cap bearing, and I took it all out just so that, you know, there would be no debris or dust or anything get on to these journals. And I set it aside while I was doing all that, and then I used the airline, I cleaned it all up, and put new assembly lube on the bearings, making sure that everything was clean and spotless, and put the crank back in again. And here you can see, now there was no need to, you know, because I had put the pistons in from the top, and the engine casings are split and everything. There's no need to remove the, you know, the cylinder block from the pistons and leave all the, you know, leave you the problem of having to get the pistons all back in again. You just simply undo the caps. They're all numbered, so you really can't go wrong. And put those, and put the nuts aside. I used more rubber sleeves on top of the rod bolts. Cleaned all of that bottom of the cylinder block up, and it's all and I went down in there and I put some assembly lube on the gudgeon pin or wrist pins again, you know, and made sure that all of the bearings are clean and lubed, and you know, and so that can just drop down onto that. But you've obviously this time and got to put a new base gasket on, which I will do, and not forgetting the two little location dials as well. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so there's the location dials in there, and the base gasket just simply sits on there. There's like a kind of a, you know, like some kind of a tacky film on it there that obviously seals it to the engine cases and the underside of the cylinder block. So really, it's just a matter of putting the block on and doing up two pistons. I'll do numbers 1 and 4 first. Put the caps on, and then do likewise with 2 and 3. So bear with me with that. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say was I positioned all the pistons that they're close to, but not just at the top, because, you don't want them to pop out and the the rings to get marked or dislodged in any way, so they're slid up in there. You just push them up in there to that position, and then position the crank around so that I can do the two outside ones. Okay. All right. Let's see now. See the wee rubber sleeves there. They will just go over the crank journals, and this here will just fit down in perfectly like that. Like that. Okay, and then so there's her dead on, and then I can just push 1 and 4 down, and I can put these bolts in that have like a nylon washer on there, just to sort of hold it while I turn it over and do it all up. 4 of those to go in, so that everything, nothing falls off. But you can already see there that that is shy of that this time. Okay, so there's no need to do them up, I mean, you're only nipping it up so that nothing doesn't fall off, like that's all it is. And then of course I can turn the engine over now, like that, and you can see how the pistons now are up to the top there, and then it's just a matter of taking that off and that off, that off and that off, and that means the threads of that hasn't marked the journals in any way of the crank. And then of course I can put the caps on and do the same with the other ones. Okay, so this is cap number 4, and it's lubed, clean, everything's perfect on it, the bearings are seated spot on, so I can just put that on there, making sure obviously the direction's right. I've got the 4 at the back. Do the same with number 1. Number 1 there goes on there, it goes to the back. This here symbol or marking, factory marking, goes to the front. There you go. The nuts are all ready, pre-lubed. So those will obviously fit on there. Okay. Just nip these up just for the wee minute. Right. You just rotate the engine and put numbers 2 and 3 down. Just just rotate it a wee bit at a time so it doesn't come off the that's them. Okay. So it's just rinse and repeat with numbers 3 and 4. So, or sorry, 2 and 3. I mean, right. That's number. Yeah, that's perfect. 3 goes on there like that, and lastly 2. Just put a little bit of assembly lube on that. Yeah, that's perfect. And that goes on there like that. Again, has to be in the right orientation. And the nuts on as before. Just nip them up first. Right, now these are that's 12. These are initially torqued to 15 Newton meters. Yeah, right, where's my 14, 13, right, okay. These are initially torqued to 15 Newton meters. So we'll go to 15 Newton meters, which is there. Turn that round a wee bit. You don't do one at a, you know what I mean? You don't torque one up and then torque the other one up. You just nip them up until they're both sort of even, and then spanner on that. It's a wee bit tight for me to turn by hand, like that, about there. Same on that side. Right, okay. So they're all torqued to factory setting of 15 Newton meters. And as like I was saying in the other video, they have to be rotated another 120 degree rotation. But anyway, I'll turn this over now. And let's see, I just rotate this here. Perfect. Right, now we should get a wee tiny little bit of clearance there now, because we've got the base gasket in. It's not doing like it was doing the last time, and that is when the piston came up, the piston was flush or else just bumping against the this, which is a bit disconcerting, because you don't then have enough. You don't then have enough piston to cylinder head clearance for that sort of thing. You know, well, obviously it's not going to do that now because, you know, the base gasket's in. So yeah, that's it. It's not as big a job as you think, you know, because when you think, oh goodness, I'm going to have to take all this off again, and you know, but if you put the pistons in from the top, like I showed in the other videos, it's a simple operation, because all you've got to really do then is undo these nuts. Now, fortunately, at that time, whenever I just wanted to test this with the base gasket, delete it, and that's why I didn't, or one of the main reasons why I didn't torque these, or sorry, rotate them the final 120 degrees, because these bolts are stretched bolts, and if you do that, then, you know, they're scrap. You can't use them again, so you have to replace them, and they're about 11 quid each, you know, so you're taking, you know, there's 8 of them, so do the maths, it's sort of like nearly 100 quid. So if you so I just had them like I've done now. I've just torqued them all to, or had them all torqued just to the 15 Newton meters with the base gasket deleted. Checked it. In my opinion, it was too tight for my liking anyway. So but anyway, to replace it, it's not as you know what I mean. I think, oh goodness, I'm going to have to take all this off and in order to get a base gasket in, but it's not a massive job. Would be if you didn't do it the way that I do it, and that is putting the pistons in from the top, because the 4 pistons are all in from the top. Everything's done. All you've got to do then is if you find, oh right, I've got to take them out again, all you got to do is undo these two bolts, return it, just rotate it a bit till you get those 2 bolts out, and then just push the all the pistons down to what, about 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters from the very top of the deck, and then undo these two cap bolts. They're 32 Newton meters. Take that off and lift the crank out, flick it back round again, and just take the block off. But like I was saying there, because the block was stuck down with this sealant, it was pretty much stuck down, and you know, it didn't come off as easy as you would have thought. So what I done in that case was have it somewhere. Yeah, I just put, there's a couple of wee sort of like pry points there, and I just put this wee bit of MDF on top of that, and just have you know, the MDF is just sitting on there, and then this is just a joiner's flat bar. You're just able to get it in underneath there, and just gently just ease it like, and then just give it there a wee bit of a tap, you know, and just go easy, and it pops off. Obviously you got to take the bolts out, and the 2 wee bolts that the 6 millimeter bolts that are put in here. One is in the area where the rotor plate is, and the other one's there. But anyway, remember all that, and take those out, take these bolts out, just pry it off, and then then it's just a matter of cleaning the whole old sealant residue off, and make sure it's completely all off. I used a few wee scrapers like that and stuff like that. You know, you can get gasket scrapers, and I used this lacquer thinner, and cleaned it all off, used the airline, made sure there was absolutely nothing anywhere that shouldn't be where it ended up, and then just you know, obviously the crank is set to the one side while you're doing all that, and then just working those two pieces, and you know, the bottom of this and the top of this here, and just and then just put it back on just like the way I showed there, and I'm happier now, you know, because as I say, I've got that wee bit of clearance. I'll show you it now. Okay, so I'll just rotate this round, and you'll hopefully be able to see a tiny wee bit of, you know, clearance between the underside of that steel ruler and the top of the piston. Right, do you see that? I'm sort of trying to be at eye level or near enough it anyway, you know, so you can see it. That wee tiny bit of clearance right there is what make a difference between your pistons whacking into the underside of the cylinder head and not, you know. You see it any better there? There it is. Not much, but that's obviously the thickness of the base gasket, which I mean, some people take this base gasket out to give them, you know, that's closer, it gives them more compression, etc. But and it works for some people. I don't know how it hasn't worked in this case here, but the numbers don't tell me any lies. You know, it was coming close before, so close that it was actually making that jump a tiny little bit, and that meant then that all you've got then between the top of that piston and the underside of your head is the thickness of a squeezed or compressed head gasket. That is not even a millimeter thick. It's like 0.8 millimeters thickness, and that's to me, that's not enough. Well, it wasn't enough for me anyway, so that's why I redone it with that there. But anyway, guys, look, that's the latest, so I can get on now. I can be a wee bit happier over it. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Bye.